Life can be hectic and stressful and complicated sometimes. And today in this video, I want to share with you 10 simple habits that have significantly improved and simplified my life. Some things I have been doing that help me to be a happier person. Some of these habits I have been doing for years and others are more recent, but they have all been really helpful for me in just feeling better on a daily basis, both mentally, physically, and emotionally. Oftentimes, it's the small, simple things that we do regularly that have the biggest impact, and you don't need anything fancy or complicated. So if some of these resonate with you, I invite you to try them out for yourself. Welcome back, my friends, and if you are new here, my name is Vera, and this is a place where you can get tips and inspiration for living a simpler, happier, and calmer life. So if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe down below to follow along with future videos. If you've been here before, you probably know I love talking about self-care. I think it is one of the biggest things if we want to be happy and healthy and also be there for others. But the thing with self-care is that it is not always easy to prioritize it, and we don't always make time for it. So something I like to do is add one self-care item to my list of things to do today. And usually our to-do list is filled with things like work and chores or family stuff, and our self-care, understandably, it gets less priority. So it really helps to just add a self-care action to your list. The world gets better with more kindness, and the more kindness we can show to others, the better we will feel inside. I truly believe this to be true with all my heart. And so I try to practice showing kindness, even to strangers, and even when they are a little rude or when I initially don't get that kindness back from them. Of course, I don't mean you should just let people walk all over you or not stand up for yourself, or to not set boundaries and demand that you be treated with respect. All of that is very important. But what I mean is you never really know what's going on in another person's head at the time, especially if it's a stranger, or what happened during their day that made them be a little bit grouchy to you. And when you meet grouchiness with grouchiness, the only thing it's gonna do is make you both feel worse. Whereas if you show someone kindness and you show them a smile, you never know what kind of impact that could have on the other person's day or to you. Now, of course, I'm not perfect at this. I lose my patience, and I'm also not saying to smile at strangers if that is not safe where you are. In the end, the only thing that I can control is how I act. And I've decided a while ago that I think kindness is important, and it's important to me. So I'm not going to let someone else influence how I act or let them change what's important to me, both for my happiness as well as for what I would like to contribute to the world, so to speak. For me, meditation is always one of those things I do on and off, and recently I have begun doing it regularly again. Only short times, like somewhere between 5 and 15 minutes, depending on how busy I am. But even though I have only been doing it again regularly for a really short time, I'm already noticing a really big difference in just how my mind feels the rest of the day. Meditation can sound kind of scary and complicated and time-consuming, but it really doesn't have to be. The concept is quite simple. It can be as easy as just sitting on the couch for a couple minutes and staring at the wall, or noticing your breath when you're doing the dishes. There is so much science to back up just the countless advantages and benefits of meditating regularly. I think it's one of the best things you can do for yourself if you want to take care of your health and your happiness. So set your alarm for 5 minutes. That's really all it takes. And you don't even have to go somewhere quiet either. And it's also completely normal if during these 5 minutes your mind starts just chatting like crazy. That's also fine. Just enjoy sitting by yourself in stillness for a couple of minutes. It's wonderful. I think too often in life we let other people's opinions and expectations influence how we live our life. And when we are faced with a decision and we don't quite know what to do, We will often think about what we think we should do or what we think the people around us expect us to do. But in the end, we are the ones who are living our lives and no one else. And others are not thinking of us quite as much as we might think they are. So I think it's very important to practice kind of connecting with your inner compass, so to speak, and really make decisions based on how it feels for you. So when in doubt, first ask yourself the question, how do I feel about this? And really try to ignore all other opinions for now. Really zoom in on how you feel and what you think. And this might even be a little bit difficult if this is not something that you're used to doing. You might have trouble even finding your voice, but that will get easier with practice. And when you start making decisions based on what you think instead of always trying to please everyone else, I think that really has a huge power and can really help you to transform your life in the long run. This next one is very practical, but it's a habit that has made the biggest change for me because I used to actually be quite a messy person back in the day, is to always make sure that your things have a home. So that means a place where they belong in your home, whether that's a shelf, a drawer, a cupboard, wherever, and always make sure to put them back straight after using them. This is a habit that might take a little practice, but try to just always do it immediately after using something. And this has made a big change for me because before I moved in with my boyfriend, I was quite messy and I would just leave stuff everywhere. And even without really realizing it, all of that clutter was stressing me out. And I do feel a lot better now being in my home, now that all my surfaces are usually clear and tidy and my things are always where I expect them to be. Now, I might not get dressed every day or put on makeup or do my hair even. But something I do recommend is never skipping on brushing your teeth and flossing, very important, and cleaning your face, even if you are really tired and all you want to go is just to go to sleep. I used to go to bed with my makeup on sometimes in my early 20s or without brushing my teeth, and it's just such an annoying feeling when you wake up the next day and you feel like a little funky. It's like waking up to a dirty kitchen. No one likes it. It's like you're already starting the day at a disadvantage. So try to do that for yourself, even if you're feeling tired. I think this is an important part of self-care. One of my favorite Dutch bands, they are called Spinvis. They have a lot of amazing songs and they're all great, but one of them has some lyrics that go, "Dreams melt in your head, not in your hands." And this resonated so much with me that I have become the habit of trying to actually make things happen and by planning them and taking action. I am someone who just feels happy with the little things and I feel satisfied where I feel comfortable. I'm not a person who easily goes out of their comfort zone, so it's easy for me to be complacent and not really challenge myself or actually make the things happen that I'm dreaming about or that I would love to do sometimes. Whether that is going to a yoga class or a painting class or a hiking trip or a trip abroad. If you don't plan these things, they don't happen, and it's kind of like life can pass you by in that sense if you're not careful. I think it's good to be happy with the little things and to be content and present in the here and now. But I also think it's good if you feel inspired to dream a bit bigger and you have something that you want to do to actually go and do it. So if you recognize this, then try and get in the habit of writing these things down and actually getting out your calendar and planning them. The more negatively we talk about things, life, the world, people, the more we invite back that negativity into our lives. And I'm not saying that you should never say anything negative, because I also don't think that toxic positivity is the way to go here. But try to be the kind of person who mostly says positive things, because positivity attracts positivity. The best example of this, I think, is gossip. I just don't think that negative gossip contributes anything to anyone. And I would much rather be the kind of person who speaks positively about others and that people feel safe to share things with, instead of being someone who's always gossiping and putting others down. Even when we think it's not that bad or the other person can't possibly find out, it's still gossiping, and you can't expect others to talk positively about you if you're not doing that yourself. Say one nice thing to yourself every day and then strengthen that with an action. For example, I showed up today. I tried my best. I followed my heart. I believe in myself. I deserve a nice break right now. I am good enough as I am. Whatever you feel like in that moment to be true, or whatever you would want someone else to say to you in that moment. And then when you say that, and you don't have to say it out loud, it can be in your mind. That's what I always do. Do something nice for yourself. Give yourself a nice jaw massage, or make yourself a nice cup of coffee, or give yourself permission to take 3 deep breaths, or give yourself a massage, like a nice squeeze in the traps. Do something nice for yourself. Small actions like this have amazing power because if you do them regularly, it reinforces the mindset that you are worth it to love yourself and accept yourself and take care of yourself. Reading for fun has honestly been a huge lifesaver for me during 2020 and 2021. I have always been a reader, but not anywhere near what I did these last 2 years. And if you're not a big reader, it can just as well be audiobooks. But I think the key thing here is doing it for fun. I think with reading, it's become this thing where we feel like we need to read 50 books in a year, or we can only read non-fiction books that teach us something that we need to learn, for example. And reading for fun is just, it's kind of gone to the background a little bit. So pick a book that you are excited about reading. There doesn't have to be a goal to it at all, other than it being enjoyable, and something where you can just completely immerse yourself in the story, forget about any thoughts and worries for a while, because you're just so completely entrenched in the story that you just cannot stop flipping the pages. And since I always love a good book recommendation, if you have a book like that you just completely love, please share that down below so I can see what you like to read. If you're looking to add more self-care to your life, I recommend checking this video out. And here are some tips for being more mindful with your spending and your shopping. As always, questions, comments, conversations down below. Thanks for being here, and I will see you again next week. Bye bye.